Hello everyone, today I'll read We Will Never Let Him Go. Fantastic Mr. Fantastic Mr. Fox. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Bing switched off the motor of his tractor and climbed down from the driver's seat. Bounce did the same. Both men had enough. They were tired and stiff from driving the tractor all day. They were also hungry. Slowly they walked over to the small fox hole in the bottom of the huge crater. Bing's face was purple with rage. Bounce was cursing the fox with dirty words that cannot be pronounced. Buggles came waddling up. Then a blast left fisty stink fox, he said. What the heck do we do now? I'll tell you what we don't do, Bing said. We don't let him go. We never let him go, Bounce declared. Never, 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 cried Buggles. Did you hear that, Mr. Fox? Yelled Bing, bending low and shouting down the hall. It's not over yet, Mr. Fox. We're not going home till we turn you up dead as a dingbat. Whereupon the three men all shook hands with one another and swore a solemn oath that they would not go back to their farms until the fox was caught. What's the next move? Asked Bounce. The possibility dropped. We are sending you down the hole to fetch up, said Bing. Down you go, you miserable midget. Not me, screamed Bounce, running away. Bing made a sleepy smile. When he smiled, you saw his scarlet gums. You saw more gums than teeth. Then there's only one thing to do, he said. We starved him out. We came here days and nights to watch him in the hole. He will come out the end. He all have to. So Buggles and Bounce and Bing sent messages down to their farm asking for tents, sleeping bag, and supper. The foxes began to starve. That evening 3 tents were put up in the crater on the hill, one for Buggles, one for Bounce, and one for Bing. The tents surrounded Mr. Fox's home, and the 3 farmers sat outside their tents eating the supper. Buggles had 3 boiled chickens smothered in dumplings. Bounce had 6 donuts filled with disgusting goose liver paste, and Bing has 2 gallons of cider. All 3 of them kept their guns beside them. Buggles picked up a steaming chicken and held it close to the fox hole. Can you smell it, Mr. Fox? He shouts. Lovely tender chicken. Why don't you come on and get it? The rich scent of chicken wafted down the tunnel to where the foxes were crouching. Oh, Dad, said one of the small foxes. Couldn't we just sneak up and snatch it out of his hand? Don't you dare, said Mr. Fox. That's just what they want you to do. But we are so hungry, they cried. How long will it be till we get something to eat? Their mother didn't answer them. Nor did their father. There was no answer to give. As darkness fell, Bounce and Bing switched on the powerful headlamps of the 2 tractors and shone them onto the hole. Now, said Bing, we will take it in turn to keep watch. One watch while 2 sleep, and so on all through the night. Buggy said. What if the fox dig a hole right through the hill and come out on the another side? You didn't think of that one, did you? Of course I did, said Bing, pretending he had. Go on, tell us the answer, said Buggy. Bing picked something small and black out of his ear and flicked it away. How many men have you got working on your farm? He asked. 35, Buggy said. I've got 36, Bounce said. And I've got 37. Bing said. Let's make 108 men all together. We must order them to surround the hill. Each man will have a gun and a flashlight. There will be no except them for Mr. Fox. So the order went down to the farms, and last night 108 men formed a tight ring around the bottom of the hill. They were armed with sticks and guns and hatchets and pistols and all sorts of other horrible weapons. This made it quite impossible for a fox or indeed for any other animal to escape from the hill. The next day, the watching and waiting went on. Buggy and Bounce and Bing sat upon small stools, staring at the fox hole. They didn't talk much. They just sat there with their guns on their laps. Every so often, Mr. Fox would creep a little closer towards the mouth of the tunnel and take a sniff. Then he would creep back again and say, "That's still here. That's still there." "Are you quite sure?" Mr. Fox would ask. Positive, said Mr. Fox. "I can smell that man being a mile away. He stinks." Mr. Fox has a plan. For 3 days and 3 nights, this waiting game went on. How long can the fox go without a foot of water? Buggy asked on the 3rd day. "Not much longer now," Bing told him. "He'll make a run for it soon. He'll have to." Bing was right. Down in the tunnel, the foxes were slowly but surely starving to death. "If we only could have just a tiny sip of water," said one of the small foxes. "Oh, Dad, can you do something? Couldn't we make a dash for it? Dad, we'll have a little bit of chance, wouldn't we?" "No chance at all," snapped Mr. Fox. "I refuse to let you go up there and face loose guns. I'd sooner you stay down here and die in peace." Mr. Fox had not spoken for a long time. He had been sitting quite still, his eyes closed, not even hearing what the other was saying. Mr. Fox knew that he was trying to desperately to think of a way out. And now, as she looking at him, she saw him stir himself and get slowly to his feet. He looked back at his wife. There was a little spark of excitement dancing in his eyes. "What is it, darling?" said Mr. Fox quickly. "I've just have a bit of an idea," Mr. Fox said carefully. "What?" they cried. "Oh, what? Oh, that's what it is." "Come on," said Mr. Fox. "Tell us quickly." "Well," said Mr. Fox. Then he stopped and sighed and sadly shook his head. He sat down again. "It's no good," he said. "It won't work after all." "Why not, Dad?" "Because it means more digging and we aren't any for us strong enough for that after 3 days and nights without food." "Yes, we are, Dad," cried the small foxes, jumping up and running to their father. "We can do it. You see, if we can, so can you." Mr. Fox looked at 4 small foxes and he smiled. "What fine children I have," he thought. "They are starving to death and they haven't a drink for 3 days, but they are still undefeated. I must not let them down. I suppose we could give it a try," he said. "Let's go, Dad. Tell us what you want us to do." Slowly, Mrs. Fox got to her feet. She was suffering more than any of them from lack of food and water. She was very weak. "I'm so sorry," she said, "but I don't think I'm going to be much help." "You stay right where you are, my darling," said Mr. Fox. "We can handle this by ourselves." Oh. Okay, bye-bye.